Do you do New Year's resolutions and then they collapse within the first month? That's what most people do. But how about if you focus on one word or one phrase that you want to become by the end of the year? Then you just have to focus on that, and all the stuff that goes along with it just kind of naturally shows up because that's what you're focusing on. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So come on, I'll see you on the other side. Hi, in case you don't know me, I'm Dr. Beverly Wixon. I'm a former high school English teacher turned money mindset mentor and coach. I started because I had a lousy mindset about money. I thought I was always broke. So guess what? I was always broke. And when I started changing a few things slowly changed. The more things I changed, the more things did change in my life, financially as well as otherwise. So then I started sharing things with my students and with other teachers, and eventually I created a business. So that's how I became a money mindset mentor and coach. And what I do is I help women, mostly women at least, who want to create their own financial freedom because they've come to realize that without their own money, life can be difficult. You can't depend on someone else for everything. So they want their own money so that they can have freedom to make choices from a place of love rather than a place of fear. And that's what we do in my money mindset programs. You know, I used to do a lot of reflection over the past year, and I still do, but it seems like it's happier now because I also used to create New Year's resolutions. And whenever I created New Year's resolutions, well, they usually last about a week. I mean, seriously, most of them did not last through January. So a few years ago, I started doing one word, a word of the year. This past year, it was bloom, but it seems like it was so much easier because I posted that one word. I wrote it on the mirror in my bathroom. I put it on my weekly, I do a daily check-in. And so at the end of the week, that was one of my questions is how did I bloom this week? How did I embody my word of the year? And so I was able to always look at that and focus on it because it's so much easier to do that than to focus on exercising, walking every day, reading every day, going to bed early, getting up early. It was, you know, I always had 15 or 16 different things for New Year's resolutions. And like I said, they didn't last through January because it was too much. So the one word makes life easier. It makes your year easier, and you can see how you're changing throughout the year. So if you've done one word a year, I would love to hear about it. And if not, let me walk you through the steps. It is so simple. So one, you kind of make a list or, you know, journal about what you do want to do in the new year. The things you want to do. This can include old style resolutions and just kind of the person you want to be by the end of the year, what you want to happen to you. And by the way, a really cool way to do this is to write yourself a letter this year so that you can read it next year and see if it's happened. I like to do it and put it in with my Christmas cards from this year because I always pull out, you know, at every Christmas I pull out last year's Christmas cards so that I can see who sent me cards, and so those are the first ones that I start writing out for the next year. And if you have your letter in there with it, it's so much fun to go back and read what you wanted during the Christmas season by the next Christmas season and see if it happened. And when you start doing it, focusing on the one word, it's much more likely to happen than if you're focusing on walking, losing weight, eating healthy, reading every day, not watching as much television. Focusing on bloom was a whole lot easier than focusing on all those other things because in my letter, I wrote some ways I wanted to bloom in the new year. Like growing my business, getting out more, you know, because we went through a pandemic, you know, so I wanted to get out more and see more people. And some of that stuff didn't happen right away. A lot of it did not happen until like the last quarter of the year. But it's because all I focused on was Bloom. I didn't reread that letter until I took out my Christmas cards this year. And when I reread it, I was like, oh my goodness, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. So cool. So just kind of make a list. So like I said, I recommend writing the letter because I think it's just so much fun to write yourself a letter and then be able to reread it the next year. But if you don't want to write yourself a letter, just make a list or journal on it. Or you can speak it into your phone, into the voice recording so that you have it. And then once you do that, the second step is to identify the characteristics. So you have your letter or your journal or your list or whatever, and you can go through and just kind of underline the things that look like characteristics or write them out in the margin, different things. Takes about, the letter will take you probably 10 minutes, and then the next step can take you 5. And I would suggest even doing this over a couple of days. Don't do it all in one day. Write the letter one day. The next day, go back and read the letter and underline and highlight things and write characteristics in the margins. And maybe make that list. You can make that list on a separate thing, or you can just underline it and write in the margin right there. And then step 3 is to review those things and pick a word. And I honestly don't suggest doing that right after you've done the characteristics. Kind of let the letter and the characteristics, let them kind of percolate in your head for a day or two. A lot of times the word will come to you instead of you sitting here going, okay, this is the one I want. This is the one I want. Read through the characteristics, read the letter or the journaling or the list, and let the word come to you. Pray about it, meditate on it. Those are all wonderful things to do because the word will come to you. It will jump out from that list that you have. And a lot of times what happens is, at least what I found happen, is that 2 or 3 of the words really stick out. And then eventually you go to 1. And then that's your word of the year. And then when you pick your word of the year, write it on your mirror, put it on a 3x5 card, put it in different places so that you see it. And here's the thing. Let's say that you pick your word of the year and by March, you're like, this just isn't the right word. Pick a new one. It's okay. I give you permission to do that. You can change your word of the year. There's nothing wrong with that. There are people who actually pick a new word every month. And if that's what you need to do, then do that. You might pick one overarching word for the year and then pick, using those characteristics, pick other words each quarter that go along with it, or even every month. I don't suggest doing more than once a month. If you're new to this, do one word for the whole year, just one word. If you've been doing it for a while though, then adding in a second word for each quarter is perfectly fine, or even every month. Because that way you've got a theme that you want to feel, that you want to change, and that's what you're focusing on. But the one word for the year is, if you've never done it before, definitely the way to go. Stick with one word. And it's okay if you have weeks where you go, I didn't embody that at all. I did nothing toward this. That's okay. You got 52 weeks in the year. Plenty of time to focus on your word of the year. So I would love to know first of all, I'd love to know if you've ever done this and what your word for 2022 was. And then 2, I'd like to know what your word for 2023 is. But don't worry about commenting on that underneath this post, because it's going to take you a few days to let that percolate. But do go ahead and start writing the letter, or making your list, or however you want to do it, or even just writing down characteristics first. Maybe you write down characteristics first. You might want to write down characteristics about the kind of person you want to be and what you want to have in your life before you write the letter. This isn't linear. Time is timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly. If you're a Doctor Who fan, you got that. It was a David Tennant thing from when he was the Doctor. It was Don't Blink from that episode. Just in case you're a Doctor Who fan. If you're not, you'll know which episode to watch. So, it is all timey-wimey. It's not linear. It's all discombobulated and all over the place. So you can do whichever step you want to first. I don't suggest choosing the word first. That's the only thing. 1 and 2 could go back and forth. They're interchangeable. So I can't wait to hear what your word of the year is. I'm so excited for you. By the way, if you want to know more about my story about becoming a money mindset coach, you can check out this video, which is my story. And also, don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell so that you get a notification every time I upload a new video. How cool is that? I mean, so simple, right? By the way, are you in the Money Mindset Magic for Women and Other Cool People Facebook group? If you're not, come on over and join us. You're gonna love it. We talk about money tips all the time, so come join us. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope you found some value in this, and if you did, let me know about it in the comments below. Or even better, subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Share it with a friend. All kinds of wonderful things you can do that don't cost a single thing. I want to thank you for watching because I know there are tons of videos and podcasts that you can watch and listen to. I'm greatly appreciative that you chose to watch this one today. And I hope to see you again next week. And I also hope to see you in the Facebook group. Come join me and learn all about money mindset with me. Talk to you later. Bye.